All right, everybody, welcome back. I've got a lot on the plate for you guys today. I did a deep dive on the Chicago train attack where a man lit a young woman on fire. She was just sitting on the Chicago Blue Line train doing absolutely nothing to anyone. She was then subsequently lit on fire by a deranged individual with 70 criminal priors, 70 arrests, at least 15 convictions, 8 of which were felonies, 7 were misdemeanors. So we're going to dive into that and a lot more. We've got a lot on the docket today. We're going to let some people get in here real quick. It's good to see all of you in chat. I appreciate you all coming in and tuning in. I also want to thank everybody who contributed to the Amazon wish list. We'll have the mods put that in chat. I've got all your letters here that come in the packages. I've got them all here. We're going to read them at some point during the stream, so I appreciate you all for that. Make sure to like and subscribe, like the live if you haven't already. And yeah, let's get into it. So this whole situation is a lot worse than you would have thought. So this is the story. A 26-year-old woman was set on fire on a Chicago train. Lawrence Reed is the suspect. He first doused her in gasoline, obviously premeditated. Why did he have gasoline on her, on him? Lit her on fire and yelled, "Burn alive, bitch," allegedly. He's now charged with terrorism. This person says he's been arrested 49 times. It's actually not accurate. It's a lot more than that. So here's the photo, of course, of her. Looks like her running away from the train on fire. Here's him dousing her in gasoline and about to light her on fire. Okay. Here he is. Very mentally stable individual, obviously. Okay. He didn't have 49 criminal priors. He didn't have 49 previous arrests. Instead, he had been arrested 72 times by the Chicago police, just Chicago police, over the past 30 years, with at least 15 of the arrests since 2016, according to the court filing. He has approximately 15 convictions, including for criminal damage to government property, drug possession, and arson. We'll get to that in a second. Let's read the bulk of this article so you guys can have a firm grasp on what happened. I know this story's kind of everywhere, but for people who don't know about it, they don't know what's going on, they've never heard this story, I want to give them a sort of lay of the land of how this happened, what's happening now as a result, etc. A man accused of pouring gasoline on a woman and setting her on fire on the Chicago L train. Some reports are saying it was the F train. I'm not sure. In an unprovoked attack, will remain in custody. A judge ruled Friday saying he poses a danger to the community. Oh, now he poses a danger to the community. It didn't. Apparently, all of his previous convictions, the 72 arrests, many of them violent for violent offenses, the 15 convictions, he wasn't a danger to the community then. Now we've really realized now at this point, maybe he's actually a danger to the community. It only took him pouring gasoline on somebody, a young girl, and lighting her on fire to figure out that this guy poses a danger to the community. Not the 72 arrests, not the 15 convictions. The lighting somebody on fire on a train. That's what did it in. Sad that we have to get to that point for something to be done. The suspect, Lawrence Reed, who's a 50-year-old in Chicago, faces federal terrorism charges for what prosecutors call a, quote, horrific and gruesome attack that left the victim with severe burns. The last I checked, she was in critical condition. During a detention hearing on Friday, Reed declined legal counsel and decided to represent himself, telling the judge he would also like to be detained for his safety. Chicago ABC station WLS reported. So this guy is going to act as his own lawyer. Remember, guys, this fella, he's going to act as his own lawyer and represent himself here. And he's being detained for his own safety. I don't know, maybe he's afraid of hurting himself. I don't know. The attack occurred Monday night near the Clark and Lake Station on Chicago Transit Authority Blue Line train and was captured on CTA security video, authorities say. Authorities said Reed was also captured on surveillance footage filling up a bottle at a gas station pump 20 minutes before allegedly pouring the liquid on the victim And then, after she fought him off and ran away, lighting her on fire, prosecutors said the security footage clearly captures the suspect's face. So, the level of premeditation here is striking. He went to a nearby gas station, filled up a water bottle of gasoline, took it on the Blue Line train, doused this woman with it, and when she fought back or tried to flee the scene, he lit her on fire. The victim is a 26-year-old woman, so remember, he's 50, she's 26, who had been sitting on the train looking at her phone with her back to the suspect when she was randomly attacked, prosecutors said. She was transported to a local hospital in critical condition with severe burns. She remains hospitalized with critical injuries, prosecutors said Wednesday. Reed was arrested the following day. The following day. How's that for you? He was arrested the following day. Not at the scene of the crime. They didn't track him down. They didn't get him to, just got him the next day.
Disrespectful or discriminatory.
I don't know what that is.
First of all, you're not allowing them
Where's that coming
to be
from?
disrespectful. There's something more powerful happening when you say let them. You are forcing yourself
I have no idea where that's coming from.
recognize who you're dealing with. See, people are
Where is
not
that coming
confusing,
from?
Lindsay. People's behavior is very black and white. Their patterns are very consistent. How somebody treats you is how they feel about you right now.
I figured it out.
Let them.
It's coming from this ABC
And now
article.
let me ask myself.
Why did that randomly start playing? Okay, that's really annoying. Okay, so he was arrested the following day with committing a terrorist attack against a mass transportation system. He has not yet entered a plea, online court records show. Prosecutors had asked the court to detain the suspect pending trial, arguing in a motion ahead of Friday's court hearing that he presents a clear danger and persistent threat of terror to the community. We're just figuring that out now. And remember that, guys, because it's going to be very interesting as this story goes on, because I did an extremely deep dive into this, and it's way worse than you think it is. So we're just getting the base level story here. This is the stuff that's circulating around on Twitter. This is the stuff that everybody knows. So they argue that he is a threat to the community based on what he did and his prior criminal history. Quote, the state court system has been unable to contain the defendant's violent crimes, and federal intervention is now needed, U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Illinois, Andrew Boutraus, wrote in a government detention motion. Reed has been arrested by the Chicago police at least 72 times over the past 30 years, with at least 15 arrests since 2016, according to the filing. He has approximately 15 convictions, including for criminal damage to government property, drug possession, and arson, and an arson incident in 2020, in which he lit a government building in downtown Chicago on fire, according to the filing. I wonder what movement that was in connection to. At the time of the Monday attack, Reed was facing aggravated battery charges in a circuit court of Cook County. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers for striking someone in the head at a hospital in Illinois 3 months ago. So he was already, at the time that this attack happened, he was already facing, sorry, I didn't have the thing up. At the time that this attack happened, he was already facing battery charges, aggravated battery charges, for hitting somebody in the head at a hospital. No, but he's not a danger to the community, guys. He's not a danger to the community. Let's just give him pretrial release. And that's exactly what happened. That is exactly what happened. But before we get into that, let's talk about his criminal history. Why does every article play a sound? I don't care about your ads. I literally turned my audio off. Be gone. Okay. Reed, meanwhile, has a lengthy criminal record with at least 14 criminal cases in Cook County. Records show he has 72 arrests, 15 since 2016, 8 felony convictions, and 7 misdemeanors, spanning, I think they meant spanning, but they said spending, 32 years in and out of the criminal justice system. I guess spending 32 years in and out of the criminal justice system, prosecutors say. The dozens of arrests came with a long list of mugshots, for crimes ranging from driving on a suspended license to battery. In 2020, he was sentenced to mental health probation for also setting fire outside the Thompson Center. This is what's wrong with these blue cities and states, is they have this restorative justice bullcrap where they come in and say, well, you know, we don't want to lock somebody up forever. We don't want to send somebody to jail for a long time. That's mean. That's mean. It's not humane. You know what's not humane is allowing violent, mentally ill criminals to roam the streets and light people on fire. Not allowing violent, mentally ill criminals to stab Irina Zarutska on the Charlotte public transit system. That's what humanity looks like. Taking those people who are a danger to society, not tippy-toeing around it, not pansy-footing around it, and locking their asses up and throwing away the key. These people do not belong in the streets of our country. They belong behind bars, rotting in a cell, away from the public, to which they pose a clear danger. Okay? If we didn't have this restorative justice BS, and we locked people up like we always have, Irina Zarutska would be alive. This woman wouldn't be facing life-altering burns. Like, can you imagine being burned beyond recognition after being doused with gasoline, lit on fire in the scariest situation you've ever been in your entire life? And now you have to go roam the world like that forever? Burned beyond recognition. You appear scary to children now. How does your love life work? It's not going to be easy. You've ruined this person's life. This 26-year-old girl, the same age as my girlfriend, 1 year older than me. Life ruined. Now, it's not to say that she can't derive pleasure from her life or anything like that. I'm not trying to put anybody down here, but the veracity of this crime deserves serious consequences. And the veracity of his previous crimes deserves serious consequences. He has a violent criminal history involving fire. Involving fire. Huh. I would have never guessed the violent criminal who has a history of arson would go and light somebody on fire. Actually, if I was to look at somebody's criminal history and decide who I think would light somebody on fire, this would be the exact person who I think would light somebody on fire. Okay? He should have been behind bars a long, long time ago. And we're going to get into the laws in Illinois, in Cook County, in Chicago that allow people like this to skirt and evade jail time. Okay? We already talked about how he was arrested for arson of a government building. But this is going to be interesting. When he lit the girl on fire, as I said, he was already facing charges of aggravated battery. Okay? But what you didn't know is that this guy... We're getting an ad here. Go away. What you didn't know is that in response to that aggravated battery charge, where, you know, he went to a hospital and decided to hit somebody over the head, he was under electronic monitoring. Now, initially, I looked at this and I said, oh, this guy was supposed to be under house arrest. How did nobody know that he wasn't, you know, in his house? He's under electronic monitoring. He has an ankle monitor, right? How did nobody know he wasn't in his house? Oh, that's right. Because he wasn't under house arrest. He was just under electronic monitoring with a curfew. So the violent criminal who went to a hospital and hit somebody over the head with a violent criminal history of lighting things on fire and attacking people, 8 felony convictions, 7 misdemeanor, 72 arrests over the past 30 years. We'll just give him electronic monitoring and put him under a curfew. That'll solve the problem, won't it? That'll solve the problem. No, it doesn't. It doesn't solve the problem. And let's look at how this curfew panned out. Well, as it would appear, in fact, he violated his curfew on November 9th, November 12th, November 14th, and November 15th, the night of the attack. And then he violated it again the day after curfew, or the day after the attack. Why was nobody paying attention to the fact this guy wasn't in his house after his curfew? He's under electronic monitoring, right? He shouldn't have been allowed outside of his house. In fact, he shouldn't have been allowed inside of his house. The only thing he should have been seeing is the inside of a cell behind bars. But since you put him under electronic monitoring here, and you had a curfew, why did an officer not get dispatched to go pick him up when he left his house? And because that didn't happen, and because, I mean, you guys saw my streams from Chicago, Cook County, Broadview during the protests there at the ICE facility. Cook County sheriffs are a joke. They are a joke. A total joke. And they're on board with all this Dem BS, the restorative justice, and just be nice to everybody and keep the peace. Why did no Chicago police officers go pick this guy up? He was in Chicago. He wasn't in an outlying area. Why did no state police go pick him up? Because they don't care, that's why. They don't care. They want this guy to have freedom. They don't want him to face consequence. They want to be nice to him. They want to be nice to the violent, mentally ill criminal who lights people on fire. They want to be nice to him. And that's why the federal government is now taking this into their hands. They just want to be nice to everybody. Don't be mean to people. No, don't be mean to people. Don't be mean. So ridiculous. So why was this guy roaming free? Why was this guy allowed to roam free? Well, first of all, Illinois has no cash bail. We've talked about how cash bail allows violent criminals to roam the streets when they should be behind bars. Also, Illinois requires judges to release defendants unless prosecutors can prove that they are a danger to society with a very high standard of proof. Okay? So unless the prosecutor can definitively prove, and what does that even mean? That this person is a danger to society, which, by the way, is impossible. You can't prove that. It's always a guess, legally speaking. Unless they can prove that, the judge has to allow the person to be released pretrial. That's why this guy was on the street. Let's take a look at this act that was passed, this Pretrial Fairness Act that got passed in Illinois. In January of 2021, the Illinois legislature passed the Pretrial Fairness Act. This historic legislation restores the presumption of innocence and makes Illinois safer by ending money bond and the unconstitutional practice of caging people pre-trial, simply because they cannot afford to buy their freedom. The law went into effect on September 18th, 2023. We must protect these crucial reforms from attacks rooted in racism and fear, which seek to perpetrate a system of mass incarceration. They have a little video for us here. There's a video. I gotta find it. Where is it? Yeah, let's watch the video here. I haven't seen this video, so I'm going to be reacting to it live and raw with you guys. Does it even work?
For decades,
weather
communities
because people are
across
traveling for the
Illinois
Thanksgiving holiday as we look at that gorgeous and stunning view at Navy Pier. We
For some
really
reason,
like that
ABC
camera a
wants
whole
to
lot.
play all their BS on me. Okay. Here we go. This is the video for the Pretrial Fairness Act. The act that makes it almost impossible for violent offenders to be locked up pre-trial.
For decades, communities across Illinois have been destabilized by unjust pretrial incarceration. Unaffordable money bonds have led to people losing jobs, housing, and even custody of their children. Not because they were a danger to anyone, but because they couldn't afford to buy their freedom. On January 1st of 2023, that all changes. After years of organizing in communities across Illinois, the Pretrial Fairness Act will take effect, ending wealth-based jailing, making all of our communities safer.
You know what destroys communities? Letting violent felons walk free and light people on fire. That's what destabilizes communities. You know what destabilizes communities? Letting violent, mentally ill felons walk free and stab people like Irina Zarutska on a train or bus in Charlotte. That's what destabilizes communities. We're getting some super chats. BP Moderation team, just make sure to send me those super chats at the end so I can read them all. I won't be able to read them right now. Now, another thing that Illinois has is the presumptive probation rule, which requires judges to prefer probation for class 3 and 4 felonies. So if you've committed and been convicted of a class 3 or 4 felony, the judge is obligated to prefer probation, as opposed to, jail time because you're a felon. Another thing they have in Cook County, which is the county that Chicago resides in, is a mental health first restorative justice policy, which defer to treating mental health issues over sending people to prison. So we've got another website we're going to look at here. This is the Cook County State Attorney's Office. Felony Diversion Program. It's exactly what it sounds like. Letting felons off the hook. Restorative Justice Community Court, RJCCC. Restorative Justice Community Court, RJCC. Community courts in North Lawndale, Inglewood, and Avondale that practice restorative justice in peace circles. The harmed person, the charged person, and the community members write a collaborative repair of harm agreement. This agreement is a legal document outlining requirements the group feels are necessary to repair the harm caused by the crime committed. The agreement could include requirements such as education, mentoring, job training, drug or mental health assessment. Charges are dismissed upon successful completion of the terms of the repair of harm agreement. So Mr. Lawrence Reed had 8 felonies. He was arrested 72 times, and I wonder how many times was he arrested and charged with a felony, only to be thrown into a peace circle where he came up with a restorative harm reduction agreement with the people he attacked so that the charges could be dropped. Now, this not only harms the people who got attacked in the moment, right? Because these people are obviously not getting the justice they deserve when charges are being dropped against their attacker. But also, now imagine all of the people who get attacked in the future because the charges got dropped against this person, they never got convicted, the felony doesn't go on their record. Now, when judges are weighing in the future, well, should we sentence this guy to prison or should we just defer to probation? They're probably going to be more likely to give that person probation or a lesser jail sentence as opposed to, sending them to prison where they belong. Because we did a peace circle, a little kumbaya. Did a little peace circle and dropped the charges. This is dangerous policy. Like extremely dangerous. Talk about harm reduction. This is harm acceleration, not harm reduction. Beyond me how anyone could be so stupid, foolish, and naive to institute policies like this anywhere in our country. And I'm going to check the audio real quick and make sure that we're not having any issues. How do you know? Just want to make sure sometimes we have audio issues. So I just want to make sure that everything sounds good. Cam, I wish I could donate more. Thank you so much. The audio real quick. Okay, everything looks good. Okay. So yeah. This is this guy. And by the way, so you know how this guy has 72 arrests, 8 felonies, 7 misdemeanors? Yeah. Only been sentenced to jail twice. He's only gone to prison twice, 2 times, for 2.5 years, over a 30-year span with 72 arrests. 8 felonies. 8! This many felonies he has. This many misdemeanors he has. Convictions. The amount of arrests? That many. That's how many arrests he has. 2.5 years in prison. Not even 3, 2.5. That's how long this guy's been behind bars. In his entire criminal career, his entire violent criminal career, that's how long he's spent behind bars. 2.5 years. He lit a government building on fire. The dude's a terrorist. And by the way, that's not news. He's been a terrorist for years. 2.5 years behind bars, this guy spent. That's it. This is probably one of the most disgusting stories, one of the most despicable stories I've ever seen in the entirety of my career. Very likely one of the worst. We covered the Irina Zarutska story. We did it on the Fearless Tour. We went and we debated with people across the country, in Charlotte, where it happened, that BLM killed Irina Zarutska because of the policies that they implemented across the country. I think it's safe to say BLM caused this young 26-year-old woman to be burned alive. I think it's safe to say that BLM allowed Lawrence Reed to walk and roam the streets unimpeded with impunity, committing 72 crimes with 15 convictions, 8 felonies, 7 misdemeanors, lighting government buildings on fire and attacking people. He went to a hospital and he hit somebody over the head. Those policies allowed this man to walk free. BLM did this. There's no question about it. Illinois also apparently doesn't allow judges to use prior arrests to enhance sentencing of criminals. Just BT dubs. That's where we're at as a country, guys. Before we get into the next story, I'll check over at chat. The world needs help. Yes, it does. And we're trying to give it the help it needs. He's a menacing predator, absolutely. What human would let him go amongst other humans? The humans that run blue states, that's who. That's who. All right, let's get into the next story. Trump is ending temporary deportation protections under the temporary protective status for Somalis. This is obviously going to disproportionately affect Somalis that are living in Minnesota, and Ilhan Omar is not happy about it at all. So here's the story. We'll just take a look at it real quick. We'll give you the basic foundation of the story, and then we will move into some deeper stuff on this story. No, thank you, Reuters. Washington, November 21st, Reuters. The U.S. President Donald J. Trump on Friday said he was immediately terminating temporary deportation protections for Somalis living in Minnesota, accelerating the end of a program that began in 1991, by the way, under George H.W. Bush, under another Republican president. Quote, Somali gangs are terrorizing the people of that great state and billions of dollars are missing, Trump said in the late-night post on Truth Social, without providing any further explanation or evidence. Don't worry, I'll provide the evidence for him. Quote, I am, as President of the United States, hereby terminating, effective immediately, the Temporary Protective Status, TPS program for Somalis in Minnesota, he said. Trump called Minnesota, quote, a hub of fraudulent money laundering activity. Under Democratic Governor Tim Walz, also known as Kamala Harris's running mate in the most recent election, an apparent response to unverified media reports shared by several Republican lawmakers. They're not unverified, and we're going to substantiate them with news sources in a second. That the Al-Shabaab militant group in Somalia had benefited from fraud committed in Minnesota. I don't know about that one, but as far as the money laundering and the money scams, absolutely provable. Walz responded on X by saying, quote, it's not surprising that the president has chosen to broadly target an entire community. This is what he does to change the subject. Okay, Tim. We don't care what Amy Klobuchar has to say. So you know the reason that these people have temporary protective status is because there was a civil war. George H.W. Bush in 1991 granted temporary protective status for Somalians living in the United States. They've had this status, like I said, since 1991 when Bush gave it to them. and it's been extended and redesignated several times. It was extended by Trump himself in 2018, and then again by Joseph Biden in 2021. Okay, so what does the temporary protective status do? It gives you protection from deportation. Your legal status, your immigration status becomes completely irrelevant. You cannot be deported based on your immigration status. If you are an illegal immigrant that's violated at U.S. Code 1325, improper entry by alien, and you've been granted TPS, you cannot be deported. If your visa has expired, you cannot be deported as long as you have TPS status. It also gives them permission to work in the United States legally. So I want to go over some demographics of the Minnesota Somali community. Namely, the fact that very few of them speak English. Let me just pull it up here. Exit out of my document. So 58% of Somalis in Minnesota are foreign born. 85% primarily speak in a language other than English. 36% speak English less than very well. We'll pull that up right now and I'll show you guys. So here you have the demographic breakdown. Foreign-born residents, 55.8%. 14.7% speak English only. 85.3% speak a language other than English. And almost 40% of them speak English less than very well. When you come to this country, you should assimilate to this country. Like, I'm so sick and tired of this, oh, they're just practicing their culture in the United States. No, assimilate. Multiculturalism doesn't work. Okay? Come and be a part of our society, or don't. I don't care. You can bring aspects of your culture with you, but be a working and functioning member of our society. Be able to read the road signs. How are you going to drive a car in this country if you don't speak English? It should be a basic and fundamental requirement to come to this country. There's no question about it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You can't drive a car if you don't speak English. How are you going to read the buttons on your car? How are you going to know where the windshield wipers are? How are you going to know where the e-brake is? How do you do anything if you don't speak English in this country? How do you know where the post office is? How can you read mail? Let's say you get like a criminal offense. How can you read a court summons? How can you read a jury duty mailed to you if you don't speak English? You can't function in this society if you don't speak English. You can't work in customer service. You can't understand anybody. I'm not saying you can't speak other languages. I'm just saying you need to be able to read road signs and function in this country as a member of society. Okay? Here's Ilhan Omar's response.
Terrorizing this nation. Somalis are not terrorizing this nation. We are helping it thrive. Somalis have always seen themselves as a fabric of this nation. So not only are we not going anywhere, we are not going to allow anybody to make us feel less Minnesotan or less American.
Well, they're not Americans. That's the issue. Those Somalis. Let's see if this source actually has like a citizen thing. It doesn't. Like, how many of them are citizens? 5? It doesn't have a citizenship tab. They're not U.S. citizens. That's why they have temporary protective status. Like, if they... And she's talking directly in response to the revocation of the temporary protective status. The temporary protective status does 2 major things. You can't be deported, and you can work legally in this country. Well, if you're an American citizen, you won't be deported. You can't be deported. And if you're an American citizen, you're legally allowed to work anyway. So you wouldn't need temporary protective status. So let's run that back real quick.
Somalis are not terrorizing this nation. We are helping it thrive.
How?
Somalis have always seen themselves as a fabric of this nation. So not only are we not going anywhere, we are not going to allow anybody to make us feel less Minnesotan or less American.
They're not Americans. The people you're talking about are not Americans. That's why you're so mad. Is because now they're able to be deported. Because they're, by the way, not Americans. Are you dumb? Are you stupid? This woman sits in Congress, by the way. I'm convinced that this person would do a better job. I'm convinced that this person would do a better job in Congress than Ilhan Omar. This person. Like, why are we putting the dumbest people physically possible in office? Oh, yeah, that's right, because we know what state she was elected in. Minnesota. So there's all this talk about, well, you can't really, there's no actual verified news articles that say actually that there are organized Somali gangs in Minnesota. There's no actual evidence of that, and the president is just lying based on unverified claims. The people in the Somalis in Minnesota are actually very well behaved, and they definitely don't put, card information harvesters over top of credit card machines in stores. They definitely don't do that. They definitely don't put skimmers at gas stations. That's not a thing. Okay, here we go. Tim Walz opened Minnesota's doors to Somali immigrants as gangs became more prevalent. Fox News. And there are a lot of articles about this. Critics of Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, who recently named Vice President Kamala Harris's running mate in the 2024 Democratic presidential ticket, are highlighting his liberal stance on immigration in spite of Somali gang issues that have plagued the Twin Cities over the last 2 decades. Somali gangs began growing in Minneapolis in the late 1990s and early 2000s as refugees escaped a civil war in their home country. Quote, Minnesota has always been a welcoming place for new immigrants, and we have no problem with that. But back in 2008 through 2012, to the beginning of Walz's administration, the refugee population continued to grow and grow. Retired County Sheriff Rich Stinek, a 38-year law enforcement professional and Minneapolis native, told Fox News. Stanek, who retired in 2019, testified about the Somali gangs before Congress in 2012. Unverified news claims, by the way. They are unique compared to, quote, traditional American gangs because they don't deal in narcotics as much as other organized criminal groups. Quote, the most successful gang prosecutions require a narcotics nexus. Somali gang criminal activities are not based on a certain geographical area or turf, he said at the time. The gang members will often congregate in a certain area but commit their criminal acts elsewhere. The criminal acts are often done in a wide geographic area that stretches outside the Twin Cities, 7-county metro area. And their mobility has made them difficult to track. Typical crimes committed by Somali gangs, Stanek said at the time, included credit card fraud, including, quote, credit card skimming, which is basically, the machines at the gas station, it'll have the overlay, it has all the buttons, the pin enterer, the red button, the X button, the green button, the circle. It'll have all that stuff, and you put your card in the bottom of it. These machines look exactly like those, except it's a panel. So it goes perfectly over top of the credit card machine, and what it does, it just skims your information. So it takes your information from the thing. I'll pull it up. Hold up. So this is what it looks like. This thing will just go right over top of the actual machine, and it looks just like the machine. but it's not. The actual screen for the machine will show up. There's a window there, and it just steals your information when you insert your card into the machine. That's what a credit card skimmer is, and that's what these people specialize in, including credit card skimming, witness tampering, and intimidation, store burglaries, and what Stanek described as a terrorism nexus to gang activity. Quote, in 2007, a local Somali community started to report that some of the youth in the area had essentially disappeared without warning. Stanek explained in his testimony, quote, it was later learned that 20 young men had left Minneapolis to travel to Somalia to receive training and fight as members of Al-Shabaab. So remember when the Reuters article was claiming that the Al-Shabaab claims were totally unverified? Trump called Minnesota, quote, a hub of fraudulent money laundering activity under Democratic Governor Tim Walz, an apparent response to unverified media reports shared by several Republican lawmakers that the Al-Shabaab militant group in Somalia had benefited from fraud committed in Minnesota. So we have somebody testifying before Congress that people were leaving Minneapolis to go back to Somalia, receive training from Al-Shabaab, and then come back to Minneapolis. One such man moved to Minneapolis as a teenager in 1983 and following a shoplifting charge, he, quote, fell into a violent street gang called Somali Hot Boys, and later emerged as a recruiter for Al-Shabaab, which eventually led him to leave Minneapolis for the Horn of Africa in 2008. No, they're not involved, guys. Al-Shabaab is not involved. They're not involved at all, but what we do have is in a completely unrelated manner, by the way, totally unrelated, has nothing to do with it. We have organized criminal activity of credit card skimming, money laundering, fraud, credit card theft, and robbery. We have people doing those things and then leaving Minneapolis, becoming recruiters for Al-Shabaab, recruiting people in Minneapolis to be members of Al-Shabaab through the gangs. But it's totally unrelated. Nothing to do with it, guys. Has nothing to do with it. Pinky promise. Nothing to do with it. Okay? It's a problem, and it should be addressed as such. And I just don't understand this whole idea that, listen, it's not racist to not want an immigration. And I'm not talking about illegal immigration. I'm talking about all immigration. It's not racist to not want that. Our country is being ripped apart at the seams, and immigration is a strong factor in the tearing. It's not racist to not want that. I don't care if you're coming from Europe. I don't care if your skin is whiter than mine. I don't care what you look like. We've got who we've got now. We're full. It's not racist to not want that. It has nothing to do with race. It's not related to it in any way, shape, or form. Has nothing to do with race. We're full. Immigration is essential for developing countries. If your country is developing and you're rapidly accelerating and coming up with new innovations, you need a lot of labor, you don't have the people, immigration is essential. You need immigration. But there are times in a country's development, history, past and present, where immigration is needed. Now's not one of those times. We're not a developing country. We have developed. We've blossomed into the beautiful world superpower that America is. And now it's time to fight for the soul of this country. Not let it be taken over by Somali pirates that are putting credit card skimmers in gas stations. Okay? Speaking of deportations and ICE and other immigration-related things, an innocent restaurant worker was arrested in Charlotte. He was tackled to the ground and put in a headlock by ICE, allegedly. Let's take a look. So here he is, the innocent, poor restaurant worker, thrown in a headlock, and arrested by ICE. But wait, what is that? Is that a... Hold up. If I'm not mistaken, I think it might be a knife. You guys see that? This poor innocent restaurant guy. Just a simple man. A simple restaurant man. Now, a lot of people said this is his phone. Doesn't look like a phone to me. And also, if you notice something, when I hold my phone in my hand, notice this. See my hand? You notice this? How my hand doesn't close all the way? Now, hold up. Watch this. All right, check this out, chat. Now notice how my hand is. What does my hand look like? Notice the difference between these two hands. One has a phone in the hand. One has a knife in the hand. Do you see a difference? Do you see a difference? What do you see? I see a closed fist. I see a closed fist. I don't see this. I see a closed fist. Looks like a knife. Now, if you'll notice another thing, look at this officer's sleeve there. The blade is up the shirt. It's doing this. It's literally pushing his sleeve up. It's a knife. At least it looks like a knife. I don't know what else it could be other than a knife. I'm hiding my pinky. Don't worry. But it gets more interesting. Because Tricia McLaughlin, the Assistant Secretary for Homeland Security, debunked the whole thing. She says, wrong again. This is an illegal alien from Peru, not a restaurant worker. This individual was evading arrest and ran from the scene and fled into a nearby restaurant, seen here. As law enforcement attempted to rearrest the individual, he became physical with law enforcement and they used their training and appropriate force. So he resisted arrest, seemingly with a knife, if that's a knife. It certainly seems to be a knife. I don't know what else it would be. It's possible that it's his sleeve. It's possible that that's a portion of his sleeve, but it looks like a knife. Either way, he's obviously resisting arrest. He's an illegal immigrant, not a poor innocent restaurant worker. Okay? Nike has hired a non-binary furry to be the face of its newest ad campaign. Let's check this out. Damn, Daily Mail is crazy with these ads. Nike hires non-binary furry to be the face of an ad campaign as the ailing sportswear giant loses sales to Hoka and Adidas. A non-binary furry starred in Nike's latest advertising campaign amid a slump of sales at the legendary sportswear brand. Nike has beset with poor sales over the past year, while competitors like Adidas and Hoka have enjoyed surging profits. The company's latest campaign, Gaming Division, a collaboration with British designer Martine Rose, is tailored to the video gaming community. The products launched on October 30th were modeled by 5 new gaming-style characters who Nike described as, quote, heroes of the modern arena, defined by creative energy. Now, I don't know if we've got any gamers in chat here, but I come from the gaming era. And when I used to game, gamers weren't furries. In fact, if you were a furry and somebody caught wind that you were a furry and you were in a Call of Duty lobby, you were liable to cry yourself to sleep that night. Okay? The amount of you had to have skin as thick as a rhino to be in a Call of Duty lobby. Those are gamers. I don't know what this is. Are you sure this isn't targeted at the incel community? You wanna pander to the gaming community? Dress your dude up like this in the ad. Dress your dude up like this. Not like this. Like, what is this? I don't know a single gamer who would look at that and say, oh, yeah. Yup. I'm buying that. In fact, every person I know who frequents video games would look at this and say, I'm going to burn every Nike product I own now. They would never buy something because they saw this ad. They would go, that's gay. And then never buy anything from Nike again. Why would they think this is a good idea? You're targeting the gaming community? Really? That's what you think you're doing here. Anyway, let's get into it further. They included non-binary furry Dominic McLean, 27, a professional esports player of several combat games whose furry persona, and gaming alias is Sonic Fox. McLean from Delaware is the highest paid fighting game esports player in the world, with earnings exceeding $800,000 from his gaming victories. The self-proclaimed furry who uses he/they pronouns and identifies as gay and non-binary is known to compete in a blue and white fox suit with a large Sonic the Hedgehog style head. This is the most cringe thing I've ever seen in my entire life. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Quote, gaming is a new lens into how we view sport, and I want to help it expand that lens. Listen, I literally have Halo 3 ODST pulled up on that monitor right now, and I was playing it before I went live. Gaming is not a sport. I grew up gaming. I love to play games. I don't have time to do it very often anymore. It's not a sport. Now, are esports a real thing? Yeah, esports are a real thing. People compete to play games. Yeah, that's real. Is it entertaining to watch? Yeah, I would say so. I don't watch esports very often, if ever. But do I see how it could absolutely be entertaining to watch? For sure. Does that mean it's athletic? No. No, it's not a traditional sport. It's not athletic. Okay? So why what are you going to sell, Nike? It's not going to be like traditional sportswear. You're going to sell chairs? Maybe a mouse? What are you going to sell? What do you Sounds like they're just out of ideas, to be honest with you. It seems like that's where we're at. Quote, I've always had interest in finding the new corners of the mainstream cultures and shining a light on them through fashion. And this collaboration with Nike offers a unique opportunity to do that in a way that's authentic to gamers and their communities. Yeah, so Nike is not a fashion brand. I don't know who at Nike has the wool pulled over their own eyes that makes them think they're a fashion brand. Okay? Nobody buys Nike because they think they're going to look super cool when they wear Nike. The only is Jordans, they're made by Nike. That's the only time. Okay? Nobody goes out and buys a new pair of Nike shorts and says, "Huh, I am going to look so fabulous in these." Oh, I just got my dry fit Nike shirt with the logo right here. Oh, I'm going to be looking stylish today. Nobody thinks that. You're not a fashion brand. You make sportswear. You make clothes that are comfortable. Comfortable to wear when you're exercising. That's what Nike is. It's what Nike does. It's what they've always done. Like, I don't understand. I do not understand. I can't anymore. I can't. I wanted to show you guys a couple things. I guess this story kind of got out of order in my thing. I don't know why I went to it. As far as the Operation Charlotte's Web that's going on in Charlotte goes, I want to show you something that Honey Badger Mom did, Shelly Boufarage. So this is a piece that she did with GB News, where they found a bunch of these signs around Portland that say "Kill ICE." And this misinformation that's being spread, where it's like, oh, this innocent guy, he got detained, innocent restaurant worker, they just nabbed him up because he's brown. That's exactly what's driving this kind of stuff. Let's see it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. This is what caught my eye yesterday when I was driving into the city, was "Kill ICE now." There are Federal Protective Service officers and ICE officers that have been targeted in this neighborhood with their home addresses exposed. So if I were them, this would frighten me.
Obviously, there's this sign here that says "Kidnap ICE, F MAGA." Mm-hmm. Again, kind of violent rhetoric. Is this usual around the city, seeing these kind of signs?
It's definitely more usual now. And we are far from ICE and far from downtown. This is a working class neighborhood.
Kill pigs.
Yeah.
Explicitly violent.
Yes, and that language is throughout their entire movement. They want police dead.
So this one up here says, "I want you to kill Nazis."
Yes. And I walk in and she's a Nazi.
Right.
It is incitement, and it's scary. It's more than just language. It's an incitement to kill people. They want somebody to die, and they have killed someone on the streets of Portland a few years ago that was a Trump supporter. Somebody shot him in cold blood, and they celebrated it. They're hoping for something like that. At my home, 90 minutes south of here, last week, somebody left 4 caltrops in my driveway. And those, for anybody that doesn't know, they're rebar, kind of look like a jack. They're giant, and they're made to puncture tires. Somebody came to my house and put them in the driveway, and I drove over them having no idea they were there and instantly had flat tires.
And Shelly has brought those caltrops to the Portland ICE facility. I've seen them. She's shown them to me. If you were watching the stream, you saw them. What's up, Angela Rose? How's it going? But yeah, Shelly has brought those caltrops to ICE, and I've seen them. Now, I want to show you something that's very similar to that. Actually, some of it is going to be the same. But I want you guys to really understand the extent of the graffiti situation. When you see Portland ICE now, it's very cleaned up. They pressure washed the whole thing. They changed the boards out. It looks a lot different than it did back in September. So I went and canvassed for photos back in September, and this is what I found. So here you have "Hang Trump," "Shoot ICE Pigs," "Molotov Melts ICE," "Kill Trump," "Heart," "Dead Cops," "Death to Trump." You saw this one in Shelly's video. "We got the guillotine," "Fuck ICE." And they did. They brought a guillotine, by the way. "Dead ICE Agents," Molotov melts ice. That was in Shelly's video as well. And I've got more. This is where they attacked Shelly right here. This was my case for the National Guard in Portland. I guess that's all the photos I took there. But there is one more thing I want to show you guys. There was one that, yeah, here it is right here. So Jonathan Cho took this photo. This is on the fire hydrant right next to the former Portland ICE facility protest Antifa encampment. Kill Katie Davis Court. That's a far cry from kill cops. Kill Katie Davis Court. Now, if you're not familiar with Katie Davis Court, Katie is a phenomenal journalist for the post-millennial. She does an amazing job with every piece that she does, and you guys should definitely go follow her. Let her know that I sent you. She spends a lot of time covering the Portland ICE facility. She's embedded with ICE. She embeds with Antifa. I've been out with Katie a lot. I've actually been in situations where they've sprinted after Katie and chased her into traffic, and I had to pepper spray people so that she didn't get hurt. She would show up back in, July, August time, and she would walk up to the ICE facility and they'd immediately say, "Leave now or we will kill you," with machetes strapped to their backs. I'm not even kidding. I have videos of it. Here, watch this. Let me see if I can find the video. I recorded it. I was undercover in block. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. It might be too buried. Yeah, I think it might be too buried. I might not be able to find it at this time. I just thought to show you guys. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to locate it. I don't think I'm going to be able to find it. But I do have something else for you guys. Could you guys see the graffiti that I was showing? Or did I have it on me? Let me know. If not, I'll show it again. It's not unique. It's all over the place. This is Seattle's Cal Anderson Park. You have right here with the trans flag in the background, graffitied on a wall in Cal Anderson Park. Save a life, kill a cop. It's everywhere. If you don't let me cut my balls off, I'll cut yours off. That's also in Cal Anderson Park. In Cal Anderson Park, it's just covered in graffiti. Like, it just depends on what day you come in. There'll be more or less rancid and vile stuff. So that's that situation. This has gone viral. A Jewish man was blocked from entering a synagogue in New York City. They're saying, "Where are you going? Where are you going?" I don't know. Maybe into his house of worship.
I'm just for 5 pitches.
Don't you have a reverse court scandal to focus on?
No, it's not your land. It's over. I'm just real sorry. It's not your land. It's not your land. Go home. Go to Brooklyn or wherever your land is. Go to shoot.
These people are just standing right in front of the entrance to the synagogue, not allowing people to enter.
Go home. Go home. Bunch of cowards. Look at you.
Now, what this reminds me of, in real quick, we're going to read a statement from the police commissioner in New York. What this reminds me of is exactly what happened in Pico Robertson, June of 2024, when I got attacked and a lot of other people in the Jewish community got attacked. I'm not Jewish, but when a lot of people in the Jewish community got attacked outside of the Adas Torah synagogue in LA. NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch apologizes to synagogue congregation after protest response. NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch apologized to the congregation of Manhattan's historic East Park Synagogue after a pro-Palestinian protest outside of the house of worship turned into, quote, turmoil last week. Tish, speaking to the congregation during a Saturday service, said the NYPD should have set up a, quote, frozen zone outside of the entrance on Thursday after about 75 pro-Palestinian and 75 pro-Israel protesters squared off outside of the 68th Street Synagogue. Quote, people have a right to protest, including within sight and sound of a house of worship. They have the right to say things that are incredibly painful to hear. I understand that pain deeply and personally, Tish said on Saturday. But the right to say those things is protected under the First Amendment, and the NYPD must uphold that right. Oh, I haven't even read this in full yet. Is she defending the anti-Israel people? Quote, our other job that night was to ensure that people could easily enter and leave the shul. That is where we fell short, and for that, I apologize to this congregation. Okay, great. So she's right. Those people do have a right under the First Amendment to say whatever they want. They can support the Holocaust. They can say go back to where you came from. They can say go back to Europe, go back to Brooklyn. They can say whatever they want, but they don't have a right to stand on private property and block the entrances to a synagogue. That's illegal. And why nobody was held accountable for that, I don't know. It doesn't seem like anybody's being held accountable for it. I haven't heard of any arrests, but this is the same thing they did at the Adas Torah Synagogue in Pico Robertson in June of 2024. Check this out. This is a drone video I recorded. I'm in here somewhere. This is the entrance to a synagogue right here. I think you might be able to see me. I am right here. No, that's not me. That's a cop. Where am I? I'm right in here somewhere. Why can't I find myself? I'm like right in here. Oh, I'm right there. There I am. Both sides of the sidewalk, by the way. And so I got here very early. The protest started at noon. I got there at 11. And the authorities, the police, the synagogue security agency, I was talking to them, and they were like, we're just going to keep them on the opposite side of the street. And I was like, you know, I had spent the past 3 months undercover inside of the pro-Palestinian protest encampment, wearing a keffiyeh. Got it right here. So I would just wrap my head in one of these guys. I would get whatever color wristband they had for the day, and I would infiltrate their encampment. And I was like, look, dude, you're never going to keep them on that side of the street. You will never be able to. They're not. I was like, you don't understand. They're not going to arrive on that side of the street. They're going to arrive on the side of the street that the synagogue is on, and you will never be able to repel them. They're going to block the entrance, and there's not going to be anything you can do about it. And they're like, we'll see. You know, we know what we're doing around here. I'm like, no, you don't. Like, if you haven't dealt with these people, this is what they're going to do. I'm telling you, this is what they're going to do. So I would, you know, when I was inside the protest encampments, I would see if I can still do it. It's been a while since I've done it. There we go. You'd never know it's me, right? This is how I would go undercover. Something like this. It's been a long time since I've wrapped a keffiyeh. But it would be something like this. Invisibility cloak, exactly. So I'd spent so much time undercover with these terrorists that I was like, you will never have, they won't come on that side of the street. They're going to come on the side of the street the synagogue is in. They're going to block the entrance. They're going to prevent people from entering the synagogue. Okay. So like, again, I'll just show the video real quick. This is what it looked like. You've got that side of the street. So this is one side of the synagogue. So the entrance, like for those of you who don't know, like check this out. Okay, so this is the crowd here. You can see my mouse. This is the crowd. You have a police line here. This is the entrance to the synagogue. This bush wall right here, this kind of like hedgy shrub thing, the opposite side of that where the people aren't, that's the synagogue. So the doorway is right here. This is the doorway over here. So check this out. So you see all these people here. Behind this police line, that's the doorway. And then on the opposite side of the sidewalk, they're all over there too. So like the drone moves a little bit. I go back. I get a full kind of... And look, see this side here, there's another police line and they're all over here too. So there's no way to get to the entrance to that synagogue. This cleared area here, that's where the synagogue is. These are all like Jews in here. There's no way to get to that synagogue. And it got bad. It got bad that day. Okay? I've got a video here of the police pushing back the protesters. I filmed this as well.
I need you to stay back.
So there's a video of them pushing these people back. And a lot of those people were the exact same people that I saw at the UCLA encampment while I was undercover. Like, I recognized the faces of a lot of those people. People were getting attacked and pushed to the ground and beaten as they were on the ground. This is Naf Sherman. I interviewed him on the channel. You can go back and find that interview if you just search his name on my channel. He's a Jew who was taken to the ground and had the hell beat out of him. But he doesn't want to play, he said in the interview, like, I don't want to play victim, like, I want to be strong. But, like, obviously, like, he wouldn't use the terminology, like, he got beat up. He got his ass kicked. He got the hell beat out of him. But he didn't want to be a victim. That's what they did to him, in front of a synagogue. Okay? Now, wait till you see what they did to me. This is me, by the way, journalist over here. I had my credentials clearly displayed. You can see my arms here. So this is a body camera. You can see my arms right here. I'm holding a camera. It's actually this camera right over here. So I'm holding this. I'm holding this like this. I'm holding this like this. That's why you can see my arm right here through the body camera. So this is my arm here. Both hands are on the camera, and I'm taking pictures. This is what happens.
No, you're not gonna do shit. Are you okay? Do you have any water? No. Are you okay?
I got it. Hey, get your heart rate down. Get your heart rate down. Breathe through your nose. I know it's awful. Somebody will get water soon. Okay? You're gonna flush it, all right?
I can't fucking breathe.
Hey, get water.
That was bear spray, but oh, you guys didn't see that. Dang it. Okay, this is what they did to me. This is what they did to me. Sorry, you guys didn't see it. My bad. And yes, this is live.
No, you're not gonna do shit.
So again, you can see my arms because this is what I'm doing. I'm holding the camera like this. This is a body camera, so you can see my arms like this.
Are you okay? Do you have any water? No. Are you okay?
Hey, I got it. Hey, get your heart rate down. Get your heart rate down. Breathe through your nose. I know it's awful. Somebody will get water soon. Okay? You're gonna flush it, all right?
I can't fucking breathe.
Hey, get water.
So this was the first time I had ever been maced, and it was bear spray. and it was bad. I mean, it was, at the time, it was the single most painful thing I'd ever felt.
All right, okay. I know it's awful. We're gonna get through it, all right?
And they got me right in the eyes. I mean, you saw how close this person was standing to me. I mean, that's actually a perfect shot right there. You can see the camera in my hand. You can see the camera in my hand. I had a shorter lens on it that day, but you can see the camera in my hand. And you can see the mist just going right from my eyes. And look how close that person is. That person is probably about as close to me as you guys are to me. As the camera is to me. Equal distance, probably, I would say. Very close. And it shoots such a high pressure, like, it can explode your eyeballs. I mean, it is... You don't mess with bear spray. And they bear sprayed me for nothing. I wasn't doing anything. I was just standing there. Filming. Look, why did I catch it? We never found the person because, as you saw, they're wearing a mask. Sophia. I actually appreciated this guy a lot. This is an Antifa. Oh, sorry, you guys couldn't see it again. So this is the shot I was showing you guys where I'm getting sprayed. No, I can't get it. I had it on like the perfect frame. There you go. This frame right here. So, I mean, like, you see how close I am standing to that person. And I just get hit. You can see the camera there.
Are you okay? Do you have any water? No!
And this person came up. This is actually a leftist journalist. He helped me.
I know it's awful, so we're gonna get water soon. You're gonna flush it, all right?
I can't fucking breathe!
Hey, all right, okay. I know it's awful. We're gonna get through it, all right? Hey, it's Sean, by the way.
This guy's just drinking some water.
They're getting you water. They're getting you water.
Night.
Here you go. Don't wipe it. Don't wipe it. Don't wipe it. Don't wipe it. Just let it go.
It's hot.
I know. It's all right. It'll be all right.
So like I said, that guy that was helping me was a leftist journalist.
I'm good. Just hold my shoulder and walk with me, okay? We're getting you out the street. Just walk with me. I'm good. Please don't take a picture, please.
This is a rabbi who grabbed me. And this is Sean still, the leftist journalist, walking. I'm trying to help.
Keep walking. I'm good. You're safe in my hand. I'm taking you somewhere to sit. Thank you. Okay? You're totally safe. Okay? Okay. In a second, there's going to be a big step.
So I'm totally blinded in a area where there's a lot of people who want to hurt me at this point.
Are you sure I'm safe? Not yet. Behind you. Take a step onto the sidewalk. Are you sure I'm safe? I promise you, you're safe. The only way you're not safe is if you're going to attack me.
This is the first time. This is the first time that I'd ever been maced.
You're not going to do that. I promise you, you're safe. Okay, now you're going to sit down. Now you're going to sit. Take up your bag. Sit back. All right. Yeah. What do you feel? What if you want to burning? Yeah, something.
And this reminds me so much of that video that we just watched of those Jews not being allowed into the synagogue. Here's another video of the actual spray, third person. So this is me. This is me right here. You can see me holding that camera. That's me screaming. Like, you can see I wasn't doing anything to provoke that person. And then this is where the rabbi stepped in and basically helped me.
Hey, I'm good. Just hold my...
I'll put your camera away, okay?
Next to here.
We got you.
Stay right here.
We got you.
I'm going to get you a paramedic, and there's a lady who's going to be next to you, okay?
I'm right here.
You stay right here. I'll be right back.
I'll put your camera away, okay? I got you. Okay? I
Please don't steal it.
No, I'm with you. I'm a Jew. Report on your face?
Yeah.
And like, look at this. This woman is like just walking down the street. She has her child with her. Like, they're just out. Like, this is happening during the day in LA, and she's just walking down the street and has her kids with her, and people are bear spraying people left and right. And it wasn't just one incident. This was back in June of 2024.
I'm with you. I'm a
Jew.
And this is just my body camera still on. I couldn't see anything. This is where I learned I have to blink my eyes in water.
Pour water in them, okay? If you can't, you'll just close them. Okay?
This is a far cry from what happened in Dearborn. Now I know how to handle myself when I get maced. But that reminds me a lot of this. It reminds me a lot of this synagogue. It's the exact same scene, except it's at night, which is scarier.
Don't you have a revenge porn scandal to focus on?
It reminds me exactly of that. So that's a synagogue entrance being blocked by all these protesters. It's just, I don't know. It's like horrific. Like, these people are terrorists. There's no way around it. I've spent a lot of intimate time with these people, these protesters, undercover in their camps. They're terrorists. And speaking of terrorists, let's talk about the Prophet Muhammad. So I thought this was ironic at first. Like, I thought it wasn't serious. I thought this guy was joking. Like, I thought he was doing a little jokey joke. Turns out I was wrong. It's not a little jokey joke. He is 100% serious. So let's see what he has to say.
Do you think Aisha was really 9? Well, it doesn't matter if she was 9 years old or
doesn't
not.
matter.
We know through authentic hadiths and authentic history that she was past the age of maturity, and that's all that matters. We know that she was a totally fine, suitable spouse for Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and there was absolutely nothing wrong with their marriage. So her age is irrelevant. Do you?
Even if she was 9 years old? She wasn't 9 when he married her, by the way. She was 6. 6 years old when the Prophet Muhammad married her. By the way, according to Aisha herself, Sahih al-Bukhari 51:40. Wedlock and marriage. Narrated by Aisha herself. That the Prophet married her when she was 6 years old, and he consummated his marriage when she was 9 years old. Of course, consummation means that you had sex with the person you married. That's what it means to consummate a marriage. According to Aisha herself in a Sahih rated hadith, which is, by the way, the highest rated hadith, she was 9 when he had sex with her, when he raped her. But this guy, according to this guy, who cares? Who cares if she was 9?
I think Aisha was really 9. Well, it doesn't matter if she was 9 years old or not. We know through authentic hadiths and authentic history that she was past the age of maturity, and that's all that matters. We know that she was
She was 9, according to, again, herself. We've got it right here. She was 9 years old. And we don't know that she was at the age of maturity. Nowhere in the Quran, nowhere in here, does it say that she was mature. I don't know of anywhere in the hadiths where it says that she was mature. And what do you mean by maturity? Typically, when Muslims make this argument, they say, oh, well, Aisha, she may have been 9 years old, and they admit that she was 9. They say, yes, it's a fact. Aisha was 9 years old when he consummated the marriage, 6 when they got married. She had reached the age of maturity. I said, well, what do you mean by age of maturity? They say, oh, well, she menstruated. Okay, 12-year-olds menstruate. Can you marry 12-year-olds? No. You can't marry 12-year-olds. I don't care if they've reached the age of maturity. You can't have sex with 12-year-olds. You can't marry 12-year-olds. if you think you can, if you think that it's acceptable, if you think that, as he puts it,
totally fine, suitable spouse for
you're a pedophile. If you think a 9-year-old, a 6-year-old is a totally fine and suitable spouse for the Prophet Muhammad, you're a pedophile or a pedophile sympathizer. On the same note, we've got another one. Is marrying a 9-year-old halal?
Is it halal to marry a 9-year-old?
Obviously, the answer should be no, right? Obviously, we all know that marrying a 9-year-old is a bad thing, right?
Well, obviously, this is an Islamophobe because no Muslim ever asks this.
Ooh, that's disgusting. I want you guys to know I did not edit that clip at all. Like, that was what he said. He said, is it halal to marry a 9-year-old? You are an Islamophobe for asking.
I see people in chat saying map. This guy is literally a map. Watch.
Asking that.
Because this is coming from people who perhaps are the pedophiles who are trying to find a religion or a way of life to justify it.
Just answer the question, dude. Is it wrong to marry a child? That's what the question was, and you still haven't answered it.
No, Muhammad ﷺ married, this was 1400 years ago. For the first 1200 years, not a single Islamophobe ever accused the Prophet of this because it was a norm.
Wait a second. So does Allah's morality change depending on what time period you live in?
Exactly. Your entire religion undermined.
Is marrying a kid wrong or not? Like, just answer the question.
You know, today they say, gender is a social construct. Well, you know what? Reality, age of marriage is a social construct.
Age of marriage is a social construct. Pedophile! That's what it is. Right there. Pedophile. He's a pedophile. Age of marriage is a social construct. You're defending marrying a 6-year-old and having sex with her at 9. I don't care if it was 1400 years ago or 14 seconds ago. It's still wrong. And a lot of them make this argument. Oh, well, you know, because people didn't live as long, and those statistics are also skewed, because infant mortality was extremely high in, like, the Middle Ages, for example, which brought down the average life expectancy. It wasn't nearly as low as everybody claims that it was for the average person who survived fetal mortality or infant mortality. They also claim, well, because the life expectancy was shorter, people were actually hitting puberty sooner. That's not the case. And in fact, scientific research shows that because people weren't getting as much nutrients, they were actually hitting puberty later and not sooner. So rather than reaching your puberty at a younger age then, they were reaching puberty at a later age than they are now. People right now are hitting puberty younger than anyone ever in history. And also another argument to this is, what about people that have like extremely premature puberty? This happens all the time. Sometimes people as old as 9 months hit puberty. In really rare cases. It's a mutation and it's not common. It's extremely rare. Is this person mature now? Can you marry them? An infant? What about somebody who's 2 and has early puberty? Is it cool because they're mature? Or do we think maybe they're not only just their bodies, but also their mental faculties aren't present enough to do things like consent to marriage, consent to sexual intercourse? You're a pedophile. You're a pedophile. And just say that. The world will be a better place the day you just admit you're a pedophile. Okay? There's another video. I don't remember what this is, but for some reason I wanted to react to it.
These criminals who have hijacked Islam, when they become religious, Allahu Akbar, Allah, kafir, 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 kafir. You understand? They become zombies. This is when someone starts becoming religious. This is what they do. Why? Because the books.
Oh, hold on. The belief that I hold is that Islamic terrorism isn't actually Muslims. The people, ISIS and Al Qaeda, and these people that supposedly represent Islam, they don't, right? And I don't think that they're actually real Muslims because what they're doing goes against the Muslim beliefs. But
it does? Does it go against Muslim beliefs? Here, hold up, check it out. Guys, what does ISIS do? Let me know in chat. What does ISIS do? What do ISIS and Al Qaeda do? Okay, I'll tell you. They murder infidels. They take infidels prisoner, try to convert them, and if they don't, they kill them. That's what they do. Let's crack open chapter 9 of the Quran. Okay, great. Here we go. Then, when the sacred months have passed, slay the idolaters, the polytheists, wherever you find them, and take them captive, and besiege them, and prepare them for each ambush. But if they repent and establish worship, and pay the poor due, the zakat, then leave their way free. Lo, Allah is forgiving and merciful. And if they break their pledges, after their treaty hath been made with you, and assail your religion, then fight the heads of disbelief. Lo, they have no binding oaths, in order that they may desist. Will ye not fight the broke who broke their solemn pledges, and proposed to drive out the messenger, and did attack you first? What? Fear ye them? Now Allah hath more right than ye should fear him, if ye are believers. Fight them. Allah, wait, hold up. Where's the... Did I already read that? Yeah. And if they break their pledge, yeah, striking the heads of the disbelief. Okay, I thought I read that. Fight them. Allah will chastise them in your hands, and he will lay them low and give you victory over them, and he will heal the breasts of the folk who are believers. So let's just sum it up real quick. What does it say? Chapter 9. It says, wherever you find a disbeliever after the sacred months have passed, kill them, take them prisoner, attack them. If you take them prisoner and they decide to convert to Islam, Allah is merciful and they will be accepted as your brethren in religion. However, if they break their pledges and they leave Islam after having converted by the sword, strike at their heads, kill them. Allah will lay them low and give you victory over them, and then he will heal your wounds. That's what it says. So, to me, it actually sounds like Al-Qaeda, ISIS. Actually sounds like they're following this to the word, personally. And that's not the only verse that says things like that, okay? My book doesn't call for violence. The Bible doesn't call for violence. Okay? So I don't know what that's all about. We've got some opinions about the Dearborn situation.
Where people are actually calling for fucking crusades in Dearborn because they're so fucking scared of brown people and soft little snowflake baby back bitches that I feel I have to make a fucking statement on here, which I don't even like doing.
Nobody's scared of brown people. Okay, I'll show you why people protested in Dearborn. This is a Christian preacher. He lives in Dearborn. He's not an outsider. This is his community. Take a listen at what the mayor of Dearborn had to say to this Christian preacher who lives in Dearborn.
Hezbollah...
By the way, what this guy's mad at, this Christian preacher, the reason he's speaking before city council is because he's obsessed that a street that was named after a Revolutionary War hero, Warren Street in Dearborn, was being renamed to the name of a Hezbollah terrorist.
Hezbollah, bombed the embassy in Beirut, and including many Americans. So I just feel it's quite inappropriate.
You are an Islamophobe, and although you live here, I want you to know as mayor, you are not welcome here. And the day you move out of the city will be the day that I launch a parade celebrating the fact that you moved out of the city. Because you are not somebody who believes in coexistence.
In reality, it's actually the mayor who doesn't believe in coexistence. He said, you're not welcome in my town because I disagree with you, and the day you leave is the day that I throw a parade celebrating you leaving. It's actually Mr. Hamoud who's not okay with coexistence. But nobody's afraid of brown people. That's what sparked the protest in Dearborn, was this pastor being told back in September that he's not allowed or he's not welcome in Dearborn by the mayor of the town. Okay? That's what sparked the protest. So it's not about being afraid of brown people or anything like that. Let's watch another uneducated opinion on the Dearborn situation. And again, guys, I was there. I got attacked in Dearborn. And I didn't do it. Again, I didn't do anything. I'm a journalist.
Waltzed up to one of their churches, if a Muslim man went to a rural town in Mississippi, waltzed up to one of their churches, threw the Bible on the ground, pissed on it, and lit it on fire, what do you think the response would be from the people of that town?
I don't care what the response would be. If they attacked the person, they should go to jail. If a Muslim rolls up to a church and buys a Bible and lights his own Bible on fire, he has a right to do that. A Muslim would never do that, though, and you know why? Because to the Muslims, the Bible is a holy text. Jesus Christ is a prophet. That's why they'd never do it, because if they did it, they're not a Muslim. But Christians, they call for... By the way, when I read this thing about polytheists and idolaters in the Quran, they're talking about Christians. Because while Jesus Christ is viewed as a prophet, followers of Christ are not followers of Muhammad and Allah, making them disbelievers and idolaters. And so they should be killed. Jesus Christ himself is a prophet, not a Messiah, and his followers are not of the Islamic faith, and thus they are othered and outside. But the Bible is a holy text to Muslims, so they'd never do this. And I would find it hard to believe that Christians would attack the people doing this. I think they'd probably film it and maybe call the police, even though it's not a criminal offense to do this, unless they did it on church property. And by the way, nobody pulled up to a mosque to burn a Quran. Nobody did that. The only people that tried to burn a Quran were on a public street, not at a mosque. Now, if you walked into a Christian town and burned a Bible, I don't think anybody would touch you. And if they did, they go to jail. It's assault. You're practicing your First Amendment. You have every right to do that. Let's see what else she has to say.
Currently, white nationalists, alongside some very misguided and misinformed self-proclaimed patriots, have descended upon Dearborn, Michigan, a tiny town, the second safest in the state, where Christians and Muslims live alongside each other just fine, to expose that nothing...
18,000 churches burned in Nigeria in the past 8 years. Let me look it up. Wow. 18 to 19,000 churches burned or destroyed in Nigeria since 2009. With a 50 to 55% Muslim population. Let's see what else this woman has to say.
That's happening there and create chaos on one end of that, operation. One shitbird decided he was going to start slapping the Quran with bacon. Obviously an antagonistic gesture. They didn't respond to it. Then he said he was going to light it on fire and tried to burn the pages. And he got a reaction. Someone snatched it out of his hand. I want you to genuinely ask yourself what you think would
have punched him in the face and pepper sprayed him.
Happened if a Muslim person did that with a Bible.
Yeah, okay, I'm genuinely asking myself, nothing. I don't think anything would happen.
Now, they did this, some of them while screaming about the founders and how, they didn't want Muslims here. It's a Christian nation. Founding Father Thomas Paine considered the Bible to be a violent text. I'm Christian, by the way.
Okay, how's it a violent text? Please explain.
He considered the Bible to be a violent text that was at the root of much of mankind's evil and violence.
Yeah, explain it. Oh, but you're a Christian? I'm confused. You're arguing and advocating that the Bible is a violent, evil text that's at the root of most of the bad things that humanity does, but you're a Christian? Something tells me you're lying. Something tells me you are a liar.
He said it couldn't be written by God, but more likely a demon.
It wasn't written by God. Nobody thinks it was written by God. Not a single person that follows the Bible thinks that the Bible was written by God, by the way. Nobody.
Benjamin Franklin was skeptical about Jesus' divinity, which is one of the only differences between Islam and Christianity and Judaism, but we don't seem to mind
You're
that.
not a Christian. You're a liar.
He also said he didn't care what religion anyone was, as long as they were good to other people. George Washington.
Okay, is being good to other people punching them in the face and bear spraying them? I got pepper sprayed out there, and I'm a journalist. I didn't do anything. I just simply asked a question. I asked why. There was a griper asking questions, saying he was just there for civil discourse, and they followed him around and touched him, and they said, "You're not welcome here." And I said, "Why is he not welcome on a public sidewalk?" And then they attacked me and pepper sprayed me.
And was committed to religious freedom. Slave owner that he was, believed in pure religious freedom, including a Muslim or Mohammedan.
You have a right to religious freedom. What you don't have a right to do is practice the veracity of your religion, especially if your religion is calling for you to, I don't know, kill and capture anybody who doesn't agree with you. Yeah, you don't have a right to practice everything that's in here, and thus you are oppressing Muslims, right? We oppress Muslims in the United States by not allowing them to practice everything in here, okay? Like, for example, beating their wives. Let me pull up some more verses real quick. One moment. Quran, chapter 4, verse 34. As to those women on whose part you fear disobedience, admonish them, forsake them in bed, and strike them. Quran, chapter 4, verse 15 through 16. If any of your women who commit lewdness call 4 witnesses from among you, and if they testify, confine them to their houses until death takes them. You can't beat your wife in the United States of America. Okay? Like, we don't allow them to fully practice. We don't allow them to marry 6-year-olds, which, by the way, happens in virtually every Muslim country in the entire world. Most countries either don't have legal ages of marriage or they have broad and sweeping exceptions for marriage ages, which results in child marriage. In many of these countries, it's also legal to rape your wife. Spousal rape is legal. There are no laws outlawing spousal rape, and thus it's legal. So if you can marry a child and rape your wife, you know what that equals? Child rape. Okay? We don't allow Muslims to practice their religion in its entirety, because many of the things that the book calls for them to do are illegal in the United States. Like, for example, beating your wife or administering 100 lashes for adultery. Those things are illegal here. And what this book repeatedly calls for is for Muslims to do battle with or to fight in war against people who persecute them or oppress them, which we do in the United States, according to them.
The highest office in the state, i.e. the presidency. These people do not know what the founders said, or they're intentionally manipulating it. The first line of the First Amendment is very clear. We have no religion in this country. We have no state religion, not Christianity, nothing. And we have religious freedom. If you don't like it, get out.
You have a religious freedom. You don't have the right to practice your religion unfettered. If your religion calls for you to do violent, gruesome things, you don't have a right to do those things. Sorry, I didn't realize it wasn't on her for that. Anyway. The last thing I'm going to show you guys is a video where Mamdani talks about police escalation and the best way to deal with criminals.
There's a risk of it escalating. If you're having an argument with someone and there's a risk of it escalating, who is better positioned to de-escalate it? Someone who has been trained specifically in de-escalation, or a stranger who has a gun?
The Daily Wire did this little edit. Okay, just hone in on the very first sentence.
If you're having an argument with someone and there's a risk of it...
Let's hone in on the very first sentence here.
If you're having an argument with someone and there's a risk of it escalating...
Okay, if you're having an argument with somebody and there's a risk of it escalating, who do you call? Do you call the police with guns, or do you call a social worker whose job is to de-escalate situations? You don't call the police when you're having an argument with somebody. If you're having an argument with something, nothing illegal has occurred, and thus the police are not required. So this is a non sequitur. It doesn't even make sense what he's saying. You don't call the police over an argument. Now, if there's a risk that argument escalates, guess what? You still don't call the cops. You call the cops after it has escalated to violence. You call the cops once a crime has been committed. And if a crime has been committed, and if the argument has gone physical, at that point, what is required? Somebody who is really good at talking down situations? Chelsea, the social worker? Or a police officer with a taser, mace, and a gun? I think the officer. Especially if you're trying to protect women, right? This is a domestic situation where a woman is arguing with her husband and the husband becomes violent. I would sure hope that if I had a daughter and she was married and she was in a domestic dispute with her husband and it was an argument that turned violent, I would sure hope a cop would show up there and protect my daughter. I would sure hope it's not Chelsea, the social worker, who shows up and gets shot herself. You never know what these people have, especially in their own homes. Maybe it's a veteran suffering a PTSD episode who doesn't mean to harm anybody, but he is. You don't send in Chelsea, the social worker. You need some men who are used to taking people down. That's what you need. You don't know if he's armed. You don't know what he's armed with. You don't know that he's not going to knock Chelsea out as soon as she shows up on the doorstep. If he's already beating his wife, why wouldn't he beat another woman? It's dangerous. You need police officers, not social workers. It's idiotic. Like, I just don't understand. We've degraded so much as a society. So much as a society. We're gonna, I'm gonna read these Amazon gift cards from the Amazon wish list real quick. Mods, if we could get links to the Amazon wish list in chat, and then we'll go through it. We'll read super chats. I'll give my responses to those super chats. Enjoy your gift from Nora. Thank you, Nora, for the gift. With love from Devin. Enjoy your gift from Devin. Thank you so much, Devin. You should encourage Jake to get a heart-shaped watermelon for us to spam. I'm not going to encourage that, but thank you for the gift, Devin. Enjoy your gift from Rachel Barton. Sorry, I shouldn't say last names. Thank you, Rachel. Rachel sent another one. Thank you, Rachel. Enjoy your gift from Macy. Thank you, Macy. Enjoy your gift from Sunja. Thank you, Sunja. Enjoy your gift. Thanks for keeping it real, bro. I love what you're doing. Hope this helps just a little from Sean. Thank you so much, Sean. Devin sent another gift. It was the Sudocon wipes for when you get maced. He said, stop crying about it. Thank you, Devin. And then he said sent the with love one. Enjoy your gift from Gary, Linda, and the girls. Thank you, Gary, Linda, and the girls. Thank you, Cam. You are great. Keep up the great reporting from William. Thank you, William. Enjoy your gift from Gary, Linda, and the girls again. Thank you, Gary, Linda, and the girls. Thank you, Cam. You're great. Keep up the great reporting from William. Thank you, William. We got another one from Norma. Thank you so much, Norma. You're a very nice young man. Please be careful out there with the praying emoji from Rhonda. Thank you so much, Rhonda. I think Devin sent the things that will protect my camera because they keep breaking my cameras on my phones. Can't really see it, but they keep breaking the cameras on my phones. So he said, what about a case to protect it? I have a case on. Just the mics don't click in well with cases. So thank you again, Devin. Keep up the fight from Kathy. Thank you, Kathy. Enjoy your gift from a small town girl, Julie. Thank you, Julie. Thank you for all you're doing to show the truth of what's going on out here from Elizabeth. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. BP, have you been screenshotting the super chats? Is there a way you could send me the super chats? I'll read a couple right now. We got a big one from Pam, $50. Pam, thank you so much for the $50 super chat. Mad respect for you, Cam. You're making a difference in the world. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you so much, Pam, for the $50 super chat. Let's get W's for Pam in chat. We've got one right here from Rye the Guy, $10 super chat. Is Sharia law not considered a state religion? That is what they are striving to enforce. Are they not? My understanding is that Sharia law is enforced when the entirety of the population are Muslim, and therefore Dearborn, to my understanding, doesn't really have Sharia law. But what Dearborn does have is an unequal enforcement of their laws. So they do not equally enforce their laws, and the police officers are obviously very biased with who they arrest. My attacker did not get arrested. Jake's attacker did not get arrested. Jeremy Lane's attacker did not get arrested. Nick's attacker did not get arrested. And the police were there watching all of it happen, and they did nothing about it. There were multiple minor assaults that happened on me. The police watched it. They did nothing. So there's definitely biased law enforcement. I'm going to check my Discord now and see if we can get some super chats from BP, because I missed a lot of them while we were going. And join the Discord if you're not already. The link is in the description below the video. All right, we got 12 messages from BP. I assume a lot of these are super chats. There we go. We got a bunch of them. Exotic Pet Guys says, $5 super chat. Hey, Cam, you're doing amazing. Keep it up, but also be safe out there. You have our support from California. Thank you so much, Exotic Pet Guys. Tommy Becker became a member. Thank you so much, Tommy Becker, for becoming a level 2 member. Ryan said we need to end all of the illegal immigration from the Middle East. Ryan also says $2 super chat has everything to do with culture. Totally agree, Ryan. Jake the Take sent a $10 super chat. Resorting to violence is a sure sign that you are on the wrong side. These, quote, peaceful people have nothing but hate in their hearts, and, quote, reaffirming them or rehabilitating them is nothing but a lack of moral values. I totally agree. I totally agree. It's not all of them. It's not every Muslim. I always say the best, you know, in reality, like, the best way to practice Islam is to just not practice it. To practice a watered-down version of it, which is what most Muslims in the United States do, and they're totally fine. And a lot of them are peaceful, but there is a real attempt in this country by Islamists to take political power. We also got another one from Ryan. $2 super chat. Cam, check your inbox for the videos. Read Katie, I will. Skits 3D 824 sent a $5 super chat. I'm very weary of people who don't value their life or other people's lives. Quote, death to America. Still uneasy hearing that, and you should be. You always should be. Jay Wilder, E3P sent a $5 super chat. Read what Allah looks like. Quote, a torso, one leg, one arm, no head, no mouth, no nothing. That tells you it's a demon. Yeah, I'd be interested to look into that. It's also kind of weird that you're not allowed to look at depictions of Muhammad. T, this and that, and a $10 super chat. I know you're busy, but I sent you a DM on X about something I want to buy you off your list. Sent a few days ago. One word of the message is important. If you don't have one, that is. Okay, just ping it at the top of my inbox again. Just send important again in all caps, and I'll check it right after the stream ends. Thank you so much, this and that. Check your inbox for Portland Ice videos. Ryan sent with a $2 super chat. Okay, I will. We'll cover them tomorrow in the stream. We're going to be live every day at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, assuming that I'm in studio and I don't get caught up busy with family stuff. So the goal is that we'll be live tomorrow at 5 p.m. I will have family here, so I can't guarantee it, but we're going to try to go live at 5 p.m. every day. Ride the Guy 6914 sent a $10 super chat. Is Sharia law considered state religion? Oh, it's the same one I already read. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for all the super chats. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate and love all of you. We may do a Halo live stream tonight. We may cover some protests. We'll see what's cooking up. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to check out the Amazon wish list. If you can't find it, just go to YouTube Community and scroll down a little bit until you see a big Amazon logo. That's where you'll find it. That helps elevate content, keep the content going, replace old gear that got destroyed or broken. And I appreciate and love all of you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.